one can amplify the energy of the plant by fasting after the ingestion period. When we are ingesting something, we are receiving the energy of the substance too. When we are not eating nor drinking water afterwards, we are letting the energy fully penetrate our body-mind-spirit complex. If you are not experienced with fasting at all, we are strongly recommending to start slow and gradually increase periods and difficulty of fasting. By saying that, we mean that if you have no experience with fasting and your body is not very resilient, first start by fasting with liquids. We will mention some of the types of fasting that you can start doing. One of the easiest stages is skipping a dinner. Just eating lunch and afterwards not eating anything solid. You can change the difficulty by drinking juices, teas with honey or just water. For inexperienced persons, falling asleep while being hungry can be a challenging lesson to pass. Then, when you feel that your body is getting more resilient, try skipping both lunch and dinner. You can still drink liquids according to what we have mentioned previously about skipping just the dinner. You don't have to push yourself too hard, as inexperienced people can suffer from lightheadedness, nausea, or other uncomfortable symptoms when jumping into too long fasts. After you skip lunch and dinner, now is the time to skip breakfast too. Just eat dinner, and the next day do not eat anything solid until breakfast the day after. This is so-called 36 hours fasting, and when you pass this level with drinking only water, you are ready to progress with the dry fasting. Dry fasting is much more harder, however, the positive effects are much faster to manifest. Again, we recommend you to start from the beginning, first by skipping dinner, then lunch, then breakfast. After several iterations of progress, you will feel that your body is much more prepared to do much longer periods of the fasts. If you want to dry fast for more than 2 days, we have some special tips for you that will facilitate most of the process. Let's say you are starting the fast at night before sleep, which is the best time to start the fasting. Multiple days before, make sure you are always hydrating enough with plenty of mineral water. The day before, eat calorie-rich meals during breakfast and lunch. This will help your body to store some calories for the period of fasting, which it will do automatically when you are trained with the fasts we mentioned. This day we also strongly recommend drinking special mineral waters with high amounts of sodium. You know, the kind which can be usually bought in pharmacies to treat hangovers. Drink it plenty, as the sodium will allow the body to soak much more water in itself. Right before the fasting, however, make sure you drink plenty of normal water, because if you would not do that, you would experience much more thirst because of the high levels of sodium within your body. Now the dinner should be a very light meal with high dietary fiber and water content. One of the best meals there is an oatmeal with psyllium and lots of water. This kind of meal will create a sponge-like structure within your guts that will retain lots of water, which will allow you to dry fast without too many negative symptoms for longer. The worst options for the dinner you can have are the meals with lots of fats and protein, as their macronutrients need a lot of water to properly digest, which would result in feeling a lot of thirst very soon. Another very useful trick is to eat proton pump inhibitors during dinner. By proton pump inhibitors we mean, for example, omeprazole. However, please make sure you don't have any allergies and you are not using proton pump inhibitors regularly. If so, please consult this with your doctor. If you are not taking proton pump inhibitors at all, then 400 to 600 milligrams of omeprazole will be a relatively strong and good dose for you. This will prevent your stomach from creating stomach acids, which will greatly reduce the negative feelings of hunger during the first days of the fast. During the prolonged dry fasting, the best environment to stay in is where the temperature is just high enough to keep you warm, but not too high to make you sweat, as by sweating you are losing precious liquids which can impact the length of the fast. Also, the higher air humidity is always better, as too much dry air will cause you to breathe a lot of liquid out. It is always better not to do a lot of physical activity and stressful work. It is always better to stay calm and in a meditative state. Try an imagination exercise where you connect to a higher source of light and breathe the light through your nose, to your lungs, and subsequently to your stomach, digestive system, and then your whole body respectively. This exercise is called pranic breathing, which will allow you to soak up some free energy from the higher sources, so you will not feel too tired. However, please keep in mind that if you are not sufficiently connected to the higher sources of light, then you will be breathing in the energy from your surroundings, so it's always best to also clean the energetic space around you before fasting. When you are ready to finish fasting, you must break the fast with just pure, still, low mineralized water without bubbles that will not irritate your stomach. Before drinking, first pray to the water and transfer as much as you can the energy build-up from the fast into your drink. This will allow you to regain energy and strength much faster. After the fast, we highly recommend that your first meal will be oatmeal with just water and psyllium again. It is a very soothing meal that will help you to clean the mucus from the gut wall. This meal should be relatively small, as your digestive system was in completely different mode of being during the fast than it is when eating regularly. Although it is very tempting, do not overeat yourself, as this can cause inflammation of the stomach wall called gastritis. If you are experiencing gastritis after the fast ends, you can use so-called mastiha to calm it down. Do not use proton pump inhibitors after the fast. The mastiha is a much better healing remedy for the inflammation, which will subside very fast with the treatment. Again, we must mention that when you are fasting alone, it's always better to start very slow and gradual. If you are fasting for longer periods, you should always have one person that is looking after you if something goes wrong. There are some Ukrainian fasting centers where they have records of people dry fasting for 18 days. We recommend you to slowly get to the 3 to 5 days of dry fasting. Longer periods than that can be really dangerous and should always be done under supervision. We hope this video will help you to facilitate the fasting process and you will be able to fast for longer periods without too much hassle. So, happy fasting, hikers! We will hear each other in the next video, so until then, do not forget to be calm and to be kind.